Hello, my name is Arron Gill and welcome to 100 Stories Deep. Today I'm going to be reading the first chapter from a novel called The Gorilla by the Tunisian writer Kamal Riahi, and it's a story based on a real life event that happened in Tunisia in the summer of 2009. So the book's called The Gorilla and the chapter is called Insurrection. And the reason why I've chosen this story today is because I think it's just really descriptive of some of the different acts of protest that are happening in today's world. And we'll talk about that a little bit more after the video. About 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the wind is busy rolling along some beer can that has been drained of its contents in the deserted street. A massive silence links the arch of the sea gate with the enormous clock tower. The clock tower in November 7 Square is a symbol of the coup mounted by General Zine al-Abidine Ben Ali against President Habib Bourguiba on November 7, 1987. The clock tower stands where a statue of Bourguiba stood before, where Mohammed V Street crosses Avenue Habib Bourguiba. The tranquility of the deserted capital is disturbed by its well-known paranoiac, who circles the tower for the last time, then starts pushing people away, warning them of the poisonous hands of the clock high above. He then starts to throw stones, pieces of iron, houses, trees, crows, and goats at imaginary enemies, things that are invisible to anyone else. He imagines that he's picking them up from the marble base of the wrought iron clock tower that flaunts itself like a whore in the last years of the struggle. People have forgotten the days of forced disappearances and fear. Not a single person has disappeared for over a year. People are enjoying the sacred siesta of August, and the temperature is over 50 degrees, and the devil of midday picks the crab lice caught in the transient lust. Ambulance and police sirens suddenly massacre the slumbering siesta, and everyone rushes, with the traces of drowsiness and dried semen stains still on them, to the streets of streets. Something is happening at the lofty clock tower. Cordons of police officers surround the place. Rapid intervention forces hide behind cold helmets and pressed back with batons to onlookers at whom car horns honk from every direction. Human beings without number look up to the top of the clock. A small, remote figure, apparently no bigger than a finger, is climbing down the clock tower with the speed of a cockroach. Everybody is amazed, for he is about to announce the end of the world. Necks strain to look at the bold climber who has reached the top of the clock and is holding on to one of its hands. He takes a water bottle out of his back pocket, has a drink, and then empties what is left over his head. He removes his leather belt and secures himself with it to some iron rings, and turns to the crowd that have gathered below like ants. Nervous policemen surround the crowd and run in all directions, talking into their radio sets. Gesturing nervously, they ask the man up there to come down, but there is out of bounds. Meanwhile, he mutters something, the content of which is lost in the city air. Only fragments of what he says fall like droppings from a ram. There is a movement from his left hand, and he waves right and left, indicating his refusal to come down. The police carry on pushing the people back, who are circling the clock tower like dung beetles. They try to ban any photography, to silence voices, and to prevent mobile phone cameras from being focused on the hands of the clock. Traffic comes to a standstill, and the car engines throb like the veins of a 100-meter sprinter on the starting